Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Alomar Designs podcast show. Now, today we are continuing our AM Designs EVO 250 celebration. And what we're doing today is we're actually offering up a brand new product. And to give you a little bit of a backstory to this really quick, just this morning, my Asian distributor gave me a call and said, "Hey, Alan, I noticed that you are putting out all these brand new products. Do you have a new power cable coming out?" And I have a new power cable. I'm really sure I want to bring it out. Um, Jen and I have been slowly shutting the audio site down, which we've been planned to do about a while ago. It just doesn't have any traffic. And everybody contacts us other ways in order to buy stuff. And it just doesn't no longer warrant to have the website up and running. Even if it's just for an information, it doesn't get any traffic. So I told them, I said, listen, I said, we have a power cord. I'd be more than happy to make it exclusive for you guys, blah, 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 blah. But I don't have any pricing on it just yet. It's only because I wasn't really thinking about bringing it out. It's very good. I use it myself. It's just, I made it for myself. Um, but what I do have, and I've been talking about it a lot with Dave and stuff like that, is many, many weeks back, I created a new fuse. For those of you who are in the audio market, know that we make custom fuses and things like that. And I have been voicing my other system, which is right around the corner here. And that setup there is pretty much like it, even though it's a theater, type of setup. It's still very, very excellent two-channel playback system, and I mean like two-channel where it's in the room two-channel type of setup. But I did it with pretty much all used off-the-shelf type of power conditioning, Richard Gray stuff, and all fun. And I wanted to do a very simple filtering methods, right? So I took what I already had and I revoiced everything. And in the process of revoicing, I went and developed a new fuse. It took a few different types to come up with the final product, but we came up with this fuse, which is just absolutely awesome. And I call it the EVO Fuse. Here it is. I'm holding it in my hand. See if I can do that with it. And this little guy, and the reason why I love this so much, when we were developing the fuse for this, I was doing two things. I was using generic fuses and really expensive power cords. I mean, power cords that cost $5, $6, and $7,000 kind of expensiveness, um, and from multiple different manufacturers. And and then I also took that concept of these $5,000 power cords, and let's take the most popular audiophile fuses on the market, which it's a very reputable company out of California. I don't want to say nothing more than that, but they sell very expensive fuses in the $300 and $400 and $500 price range. Versus the Chinese, which sell them for a couple $1,000s, which is, you got to be nuts to spend that kind of money. What if you blow the fuse? Well, you're out $2,000. Yeah, that's stupid. But anyway, I wanted to go and give it an honest opinion, because if I could not better what the most popular product is on the market, what's the point? And I've always been able to better them from what the clients tell me. And so that always made me happy. But we said, okay, let's try this. Let's do all this different types of A/B testing. And you've maybe heard Dave and I talk about how we tried this cable versus that cable versus this filter and that filter. This is all part of the development of this fuse. And so I first put a pair into the Richard Gray 1200S. And it took a few days to, I would say, about 9 days in, and it was phenomenal. It graduates over 3, 4, 5 days and just gets better and better and better in the imaging and in the depth of field and the inkiness of the soundstage, which is unlike anything I've ever heard before. So then, if you understand how I have that system set up, I have a 1200S. I have a 400S piggybacked into it just as a reservoir tank. I don't actually run anything off of it. And it's just there to add additional inductance. This is all part of the Richard Gray ISO Gray system. And so I went and I put one into the 400S. And within a few days, we started to hear improved inkiness, more of that spotlighting, which we're really famous for producing in the soundstage and stuff like that. And I said, "Oh, we got something going on here." So I did that, and then I have two of the Richard Gray pole pig isolation transformers, so I put them into those, and again, it starts to come and do its thing. So now Dave comes over and we're doing these testing. So I do a really cold test on the tubes. And I said, here, when can we put this in, right? So I put it in Buena Vista's Social Club album. And I just flipped the tubes on fresh. They were all cold. And I said, here, take a listen. Now, again, this system is not your normal system. I'm using professional, touring monitors. So they're on the floor. They're aimed up. It's like you're at a concert and you're looking at the front monitors. That's what my system looks like. And you would never expect to have image that's up here that it's right where it's supposed to be. You think the image would be drawn down to the speaker. It's not. It's up here and it wraps around you and it goes back and comes forward. It goes to the left and the right, and so forth. So I always like to do these demos with Dave and impress them. So, and I think I impressed him. So after he leaves, I decide, well, I can still put one. I have a MyTech Manhattan 2, so I put one in there, and I put one in the Prima Luna EVO 400, and I can't do no more fuses on that setup. And so I do that. I let them break in, and we take that imaging that was here and that wrap around, and these two applications just go and flesh it all in. So now you have layer on top of layer on top of layer on top of layer with that wonderful spotlight, and it just goes on forever. And so when you listen to a lot of recordings that have good depth, like a reference recording or something like that Keith Wetton did, Dick Hyman, the Swing album is a prime example. Your soundstage just goes on forever and the horns just ring out inside the hall. It's just gorgeous, but it's a wraparound gorgeous. Yes, I can hear stuff that's well over here, but I can hear stuff that's right here too. It's so cool, and it's all done with this little fuse. The EVO Fuse is a 3-part design. Now, a lot of people, they sell you audiophile fuses, and some will say, well, we put carbon paint on the inside of the fuse casing. Okay. We put sand, we put this, whatever they do. Other companies won't tell you. They'll say it's a materials thing and blah, 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 and we're not going to tell you what's in the secret sauce. Fine, if they have the option to do that. If you go and you buy it, you buy it. I have always been known to tell people what's in the secret sauce, and this is a really simple design in the fact that we start with a conductive silver layer, which is married with a carbon fiber, a raw carbon fiber, and then we have a 6/9 copper over top. And unlike other things where they're just looking to adjust thermal temperature, so they put this little tiny whatever, and it's in one little spot and it doesn't wrap around or anything like that. This wraps completely around, so not only does it alter thermal temperature, but it's basically sets up an active cell, so to speak. So when your electricity is passing through it, it actually gets filtered. So it's not just the fact that we manipulate the harmonic structure because, you know, we couple to it. We actually create a filtered slope. And I can guarantee you that this fuse will do a greater than 75 decibels of noise reduction from 1 meg on up. And it's pretty solid too, from 1 meg up to about 25 gigahertz. So it's a very impressive design. And this gets back to my my intro to this, is that I was talking to the vendor, and he said, what about these power cords? Can you do a power cord? And I said, in all honesty, I said, we have this new fuse that's coming out, and I honestly would. I would throw this against any $5,000 power cord out there or power conditioner out there, simply because we've tested against everything with this. We either matched it or we did better than, which kind of made it disappointing for the other stuff, spending that kind of price. And I said, you may want to really consider telling your clients to try the fuse before they try the power conditioner. And then on top of it, why don't you try several fuses in a system and watch how these all couple together, expand, develop, and so forth. If you can treat 2/3 to all, like I said, not every component has a fuse that you can swap out. But if you can treat at least 2/3 of your system with fuses, with the EVO fuse, you have absolutely added, $6,000 or $7,000 of filtered performance. I know it's crazy just from this, right? Into your system. This is not snake oil. We actually, and I've been doing this for a very, very long time. This is not my first fuse I've created. I've created about 9 different fuse generations over the years, and they have always had a cut built into them, so it filters out all noise. And this does more than just filter out incoming noise. It also pushes out IR and negative ions inside the chassis, which also coat and bathe and so forth the EM that's built up by the individual parts, and it cancels that stuff out. So you get a clarity that you just don't expect too often. And, you just don't get a product like this. This is not just a fuse. So the whole idea to doing this is that, if I was to develop a $5,000 thing, do I make this competitive so where I trick the audience out and say, well, it's comparative to the other guy's $500 fuse. When you add the $500 to the $300 to another $300 to another $500. It's a way to do it. It is. But I want people to try them. So we're going to offer up the EVO Fuse. Are you ready for this? For $89.95 through the website. So if you go over to amdesignshealth.com, you're going to find the EVO Fuse. And this is a product where if you install it, you can expect everything that I just laid out. I'll never tell you something that it won't do. Okay? So go over there and take a look. Try it. It's, what's the worst case scenario? You don't like it? You know what I mean? But for $90, $89.95, you're not gonna find a better tweak than this. That's for certain. So now, what I will say to you is this: I did try it with contact enhancers, the liquids, and some I liked and some I did not like. I did not like the silver paste. I know they were popular at one time. I had some. I didn't really like it. What I did like, now I did try the Furatech Nano Liquid with the suspended the silver and gold particles. That wasn't bad. It just extends the break-in period for a real lengthy time. It's like 25 days for a full break-in. So if you got if you're antsy, you have antsy your pants, you try it, you only want to give it a day or two or three before you make a decision. That's not the way to go. Um, the Craig Pro Gold wasn't bad, and it did not really slow down the break-in. So if you want to put a little bit on a Q-tip and just buff the tips, the ends, and then take off the residue. You don't have to wash it off. Don't take alcohol and wash it off. Leave it on because it adds an insulating layer. But that did not really cause a problem for the sound quality. Um, so I'm just saying. But anyway, this is the EVO Fuse. It's $89.95. Go over to our website, take a look at it, check it out. It's really fabulous. And trust me, like I say this, you are going to enjoy the benefit of it. If you are an audiophile, you're going to enjoy the benefit of it. If you are a videophile, you are really going to enjoy what it does to the video. Really dimensional. If you are someone who is into EHS and you're just looking for a way to lower feedback noise coming out of your appliance, that if it has a fuse on there, put one in. You will absolutely see a significant drop in noise and a drop in magnetics. Okay, and you know if your appliance is powered up 24/7, even if it's in standby, it's still powered up 24/7. You will reap the benefits of the negative ion discharge. It just keeps building and building and building until it creates this Faraday cage of the component casing, and then eventually that casing just starts leaching out negative ions. So just things to think about. So anyway, like I said, it's EVO Fuse. It's $89.95. Take a look at it. Go over to amdesignshealth.com and take a look at it. Check it out. Try it for yourself. I think you'll really be impressed with it. I know I am. Like I said, I have several in my setups, and I'm extremely impressed by it. So, thanks for listening, guys. I really appreciate it. Take care, and have a great rest of your day.